Hi guys, Amanda here, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so glad that you decided to join me today. I am continuing to work through the Grace and Gratitude kit from Illustrated Faith, and I am just kind of using the last little bits that I have from the kit in this week's entry. So I decided that for this last little entry in this devotional that I would get a little gutsy with how I used my products. And so there are these little clear plastic transparencies that come in the kit, and they are super fun to use. I've used it to highlight verses. I've used it as a background behind like a die cut piece. And I thought today I would work and try to stamp on top of the clear piece. And so you can see that I have that teal clear piece and I have the word gratitude on top of it. I'm just kind of seeing, is it going to fit? What kind of ink am I going to use? All of that good stuff. I decided to go with a VersaFine ink because it is a permanent ink. And it worked out pretty well. I want to continue trying different inks on this type of texture and find the one that works the best. But for my first time trying it and trying to make it work, it actually turned out not so bad. With this kit and this particular devotional, the one that I showed you at the beginning of the video titled Grace, Shauna is challenging us to write down any goals that we have for 2019, especially ones related to gratitude and grace. And so I decided that my title would read This Year, Grace and Gratitude Goals. So I'm using the die cuts, the stamps from this kit, and then I am using the faith goals from last year's Illustrated Faith kit in January. I'm using that as part of my title. So you can see there I have the VersaFine ink and I am just now drying it so it will hopefully set. It is a little sticky, and so I end up dropping it and I think, oh my goodness, it's gonna stick to my page. But then I actually was quite pleased that there was no ink on my page when it had fallen face down. So I'm gonna call this entry a success with trying a new technique for you guys. If you've tried this technique before and you have had really good success with it, please let me know what ink you used and how you made it work, because again, I'm just trying to challenge myself creatively this year, and that is actually one of the goals that I write down in my journaling. I know that people have been wondering, like, how do you stick down those clear pieces? With this, I actually just use my tape runner and I just put tape in the very corners of the little piece, and you end up not being able to see the tape, and it blends in pretty well, and it works just the same as a die cut. And I'm pretty pleased with how the tape runner adheres these transparencies to the page. You'll see here in just a minute, I'm going to use one of the Illustrated Faith colored pens just to handwrite the word "and" on the page, and so it will read This Year, Grace and Gratitude Goals. For the goals word that you're going to see me stamp down, I do use the Distress ink in the color Peacock Feathers. I felt it went really well with the colors that I was getting on the page, kind of the teals and greens and blues, and it just kind of brought the whole page together and added a little bit of brightness, which I was really pleased for. I don't use Distress inks too often, so you will see that I have just these small little squares of Distress ink, and they fit perfectly in this photo box. So if that's something that you're interested in, the photo boxes are super cheap at like a Hobby Lobby or a Michaels, and they fit perfectly. And I'm even able to keep the little blending tools in there with the colors, which is perfect because then everything is right there all together when I want to use my Distress inks. I fished through my bucket of tabs. I really wanted to use one of the ones in the Grace and Gratitude kit none of them were really fitting the color scheme that I was going for, so I just decided to take out my my bin of tabs and just use some WordFetti from the kit, the word grace, to make that happen on the top of my page. I just find a black one, just something really, really simple that isn't going to take away from my title or from my journaling, and I just put it on there on the top of my page. I'm going to link everything that I use down below so you can check everything out, and you can get started on this journey. I know a lot of people who start Bible journaling, they are just disappointed that they didn't start sooner. So if this is something that you've been kind of watching from afar and you're wanting to dive in, I strongly suggest that you just open up your Bible or notebook and you just write down some goals that you have for 2019, add a little sticker or some washi tape, and that can be your very first entry in the Bible journaling world. You can see here, you don't even need a marker to highlight your page. I have just the highlighter washi from Dayspring and Illustrated Faith, and I use that to highlight my verse as well as just kind of underline the word goals to start my journaling. So you don't need a ton of materials. You don't need an artistic background. I never took an art class. I never did anything like that. I just kind of came into my own with my creativity, and I have just loved the journey that God has taken me on, and that is kind of what I'm getting down in the margin of my Bible. I'm also getting married in about 85 days or so, so I am just writing a prayer for my upcoming marriage and finding a home and our future family, and just making sure that I get all of those documented in my Bible. And then it's so fun to be able to look back and see how far you've come artistically as well as in your faith journey. So be sure to start today, even if it's just a simple entry. You will not regret it. Like, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram @RowWrites. See you next time. Bye.